Okay, maintenant for May 2023. Okay, for this month of May, again, computational photography, I talk about my software development practice and the way I use my apps, my filters, all my equipment. It's basically smartphone photography. And for these last months, I haven't coded much. I haven't seen much in terms of new software, but I definitely am working a lot with my smartphones and my connected devices. And here, mainly this month, is also going to be quite passive. Let's start. I took photos next to a more traditional project I had, which is Hyperdate. If you're interested, you have this playlist, which is named Serial, where I talk about my more traditional photography. So here it's a project where I have models, I have more traditional setups, lightings, and whatever. And here I used my main app, Camare, to take pictures of the environment, or in the middle, a photo with the model and the lighting turned on. I think it's an interesting way also to relate and bring another view of what you do. Here again, 3 pictures going around. That's part of my creative process in photo software development. I need to try what I've already done, see if I can do something new, see how the old things work. It's like, having different cameras. I want to see if I can use them differently, if it can be creative, if it's still creative, if I don't get bored from it. Here again, 3 photos. I'm basically trying to find new ideas. During travels, it's often a good moment for me to discover new pathways to creativity in terms of software development. Here I have those 2 pictures, middle and left. There's some kind of convex distortion. Is that interesting? Should I go in that direction of distorting the image to make it interesting? Or shall I go towards a more monochromatic images like on the right? Again, 3 pictures where I definitely tried a little bit around that idea of removing the color information. Is it interesting? Does it make sense for me to go in that pathway for developing new apps? Well, I mean, new modules. Or actually, yeah, why not new apps? Here again, that's getting back to Iceland for a 1-week project in the more traditional photography environment. But still, the picture on the left, that's interesting to me, because in the process of testing my old modules, creative modules in saturators or filmulators, I was very doubtful of that module where I had this look of paper, folded paper kind of. Yeah, I wasn't sure I wanted to release this. I actually released it, and I think after quite many months, I feel I did that. I made the right decision. I really like it in some circumstances. It really brings something else to the photos, at least to me. But I developed those apps originally for my own practice. So yeah, here on top, the dual photo with me looking at the scene from a place where I like to stay in Reykjavik. I also continued doing dual photos, and that's mainly with my smartphone, harder to do with normal cameras. And again, looking at how different software processes can really give different feels to the same scene. So, for example, the cocktail here, that's at Anayona, a great place. That's actually the house cocktail. Great, highly recommended. It definitely looks different on the left or on the right, besides that I drank it in between. But the color process, the way I modify the image, the grain, is very different. It's not the same feel, not the same story. Even on a kind of lame and boring photo like this one, or the cocktail place. It's a bar. I say it's Vedur in Reykjavik. Very different ambiances, highly modified by the filtering process. So yeah, again, revisiting places I already know, taking once in a while a picture when I feel like it. How does it modify? How does it alter the message I want to transmit in the reality I share? I think it's an interesting, for me, it's an interesting process. Again, here's 3 pictures, various, I would say, usual ambiances, but modified using the random mix mode of my effects on my apps. And yeah, as I was this month of May, as I said before, it was more a week it's actually a week of workshop working on kind of fashion photography in the middle of Iceland, and taking photos of the environment besides that work where I was working with medium format cameras and film cameras, trying to use those filters to see how I could transmit the feels I had while traveling, while going around. And here's the lakes of east of Reykjavik. Does that work? Can I really convey something different using those filters? That's part of my process. And here again, how do I combine? I really like this, for those who know my work on smartphones, or actually even on film. I like the 1:2 format, and I do have film cameras that have that aspect ratio. Here, one is vertical, one is horizontal, trying to collage things. Maybe in the future I will do an app that lets you collage things differently, or work on different zones using different algorithms. I don't know. That gave me a few ideas. And here again, the plains of Reykjavik, documenting this workshop. We can see the model here on the picture on the left. How does this filtering modify the feel we have of the environment? How can I convey some of the ideas I had and some of the feelings I had, sentiments I had during this great week in the middle of nowhere? On most of my apps, actually, I think all of my photo apps, there's a preference panel choice where you can choose to save the original picture before it's processed by my software. I actually use it, but I rarely actually use the photo that comes out of it. Only the filter, the transformed photo makes sense. And I think that's good. I mean, for me, for my work. I do have this backup just in case if I want to test something, or if I have that really super interesting photo where the filtering ruins it. But here, again, 3 examples where those filters, I think, add something else. Maybe on the picture on the left, the square filter or the Ondo filter on the right. Very different kind of feel from the original images. That means I don't show you the original images. That's not the goal. I think here it works how I expected it to, and I'm pretty happy about it. So here again, the plains of Reykjavik viewed with the filters on the left, and the middle photo. It's kind of I didn't modify it. That's taken with the smartphone, also with my apps, but that's the original without modification. Definitely not the same kind of grain. And those smartphones make great pictures, but yeah, most of the time I will use them with my own apps. That's my personality in terms of photography, smartphone photography. Here again, this folded paper module, which I definitely think adds something in certain kinds of pictures. And yeah, using borders or not. Or here, going back to the European continent, traveling is always a way. The story is per se included in your photo process when you travel. So here the 2 pictures, middle and left, are still in Reykjavik, and then it's somewhere in the German part of Switzerland, German-speaking part of Switzerland, again with this folded paper effect, which I think works great in certain situations. I had some doubts when I released the module, but finally I'm pretty happy I did. And here again, going back to the basic life and taking pictures once in a while using the apps and those random filters. These 2 months, at least, have been really me getting back to trying to figure out new pathways in software development in terms of photography. And I think that's part of the computational photo development process. You can't only code or be in front of your computer transforming bits. You have to take a step back and look at what comes out of it. And here again, those 3 last pictures, going in the mountains, hiking around once in a while to take a picture, or just going around the city. But the last picture that's on the right, I think that's giving me an idea for the future. That's with the flash. My apps let you use the flash or the flashlight to take pictures. And sometimes you want to have this extra crispy borders because of the the shadow from the flash. I think computational photography is not only using the sensor data to transform it and make something. It's also using the hardware at disposal. So just a reminder here that I might be looking at how those smartphones give you other kinds of information that can be useful for the photo, like the depth map sensor, or the lidar, or whatever. Maybe I'll find other ways, and hopefully, that's it for this month. Quite passive, as I said, in terms of coding and creating new things, except for the pictures. But hopefully that was entertaining, and catch you next time.